Hello, and welcome to Code Your English. I'm really glad you're here today. In this episode, we're going to explore some powerful lessons about success from people who lived thousands of years ago, the ancient philosophers. Now, you might wonder, why should we care about ideas from so long ago? After all, the world today is very different. But the truth is, the challenges we face in life, like feeling stuck, dealing with setbacks, or trying to figure out what success really means, are often the same problems humans have been thinking about for centuries. Ancient philosophers like Socrates, Aristotle, Confucius, and Marcus Aurelius asked deep questions about how to live well and how to find true happiness. Their ideas can help us understand ourselves better and find the motivation to grow, even when life feels tough or confusing. So, in this episode, I want to invite you to join me on a journey not just through history, but also inside your own mind and heart. Let's start with a simple but important question. What does success mean to you? Is it about earning a lot of money? Or maybe it's about feeling happy every day. Some people say success means being wise or having good relationships with others. There is no single answer, and that's exactly the point. Success is personal, and it can change for each person. Thinking about this can be a little challenging, but it's also exciting, because it means you have the power to decide what success looks like in your life. Have you ever stopped to think about what really drives you? What motivates you to keep going when things get hard? Or maybe you have felt stuck, unsure where to start, or afraid of making mistakes. If so, you're not alone. These feelings have been part of human experience for thousands of years. Ancient philosophers didn't just give advice. They offered ways to change the way we think and feel about ourselves and our challenges. Throughout this episode, I'll share with you some of the most valuable ideas from these thinkers. We'll talk about the importance of mindset, why consistency beats perfectionism, how knowing yourself can be your greatest strength, the role of community in success, and how to accept change without fear. These are not quick fixes, but lessons to live by. Lessons that invite you to reflect, try new things, and grow. By the end of our time together, I hope you'll feel inspired to create your own philosophy of success, one that fits who you are and what you want in life. So, get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let's start this journey. What stops you from starting? What small step could you take today toward a better mindset and a fuller life? Think about that as we move forward. Thanks for being here. Let's dive in. What does success really mean? Now that we have started thinking about success, it's time to dive a little deeper. What does success really mean? This might sound like a simple question, but actually, it is one of the most important and complicated questions we can ask ourselves. For many people, success means having wealth, that is, earning a lot of money, or owning many things. When you watch movies or TV shows, you often see successful people living in big houses, driving expensive cars, or wearing fancy clothes. It can seem like money is the key to success. After all, money gives us comfort and freedom to do many things. But is having money enough to feel truly successful? Sometimes, people who have a lot of money still feel unhappy or empty inside. So, success cannot only be about money. Another way to think about success is through happiness. Many people say that being happy is the real meaning of success. This could mean enjoying your daily life, having fun, or feeling peaceful inside. Happiness can come from simple things: spending time with family and friends, doing work you love, or even taking a walk outside on a sunny day. But here, Happiness is not just about feeling good all the time. It is also about feeling satisfied and proud of yourself, even when life is difficult. Have you ever felt happy after finishing a tough project or helping someone? Moments like these show a different kind of success. Success as a feeling, not just a goal. Success can also mean wisdom. This idea comes from ancient philosophers who believed that success is about knowing how to live well. Wisdom is the ability to understand life's challenges, make good choices, and learn from mistakes. When you are wise, you don't just follow what others say or do. Instead, you think for yourself and find your own path. Wisdom helps you stay calm during hard times and keep moving forward. So, in this way, success is not about what you have, but what you have learned and how you grow as a person. These different ideas about success, wealth, happiness, and wisdom are all important. But here is the most important part. Success means different things to different people. What feels like success to one person may not be the same for someone else. For example, in some cultures, success might mean supporting your family and being a good community member. In other cultures, success might be about achieving personal goals or standing out as an individual. This is why it is so important to think about success in a personal way. To ask yourself, what does success really mean for me? Thinking about success as a personal and many-sided idea can help you in your own life. It can stop you from feeling pressure to follow someone else's idea of success, like getting a certain job or buying something expensive. Instead, you can focus on what makes you feel proud, happy, or strong. Success can be small or big. It could be finishing a book you started, learning to speak English better, or making a new friend. These may seem like small steps, but each one is a success in its own way. It's also helpful to remember that success is not a straight path. Sometimes, you may think you have failed, but really, you are learning and growing. Ancient philosophers taught us that setbacks and mistakes are part of success. They are chances to understand yourself better and build a stronger mindset. So, the next time you feel discouraged, try to ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or, how can I use this experience to move forward? Now, I want you to take a moment to think about your own idea of success. What do you want most in your life? Is it peace of mind, good relationships, knowledge, or something else? Remember, there is no right or wrong answer. Your success is your own. And by understanding this, you can start to make choices that fit who you are, not just what others expect from you. In this episode, we will explore some important lessons from ancient philosophers that can help you build this personal idea of success. These lessons will show you how to change your mindset, be more consistent, understand yourself better, and accept life's changes. But for now, keep thinking about success as something rich and many-sided, not just one thing. Before we move on, ask yourself, when have you felt successful in your life, even in a small way? How did that feel? What made it special for you? This reflection can help you connect more deeply with the ideas we will discuss next. Success is not only about big achievements, it's about finding meaning in the journey, in every step you take. Thanks for listening carefully. Let's continue this journey together. Lesson 1. The Power of Mindset. Stoicism and Resilience. Now that we have started thinking about what success means to us, let's explore one of the most powerful lessons from ancient philosophers: the power of mindset. This lesson comes from a group of thinkers called the Stoics. Have you ever heard of Stoicism? It's a way of thinking about life that started more than 2,000 years ago, and it still helps people today. Some famous Stoic philosophers are Marcus Aurelius, who was a Roman emperor, and Epictetus, who was a teacher and a former slave. They both taught ideas about how to live well, even when life is hard. One of the main ideas in Stoicism is that we cannot control everything around us. Sometimes, things happen that we do not want. Maybe we lose a job, have an argument with a friend, or face unexpected problems. According to the Stoics, what makes us unhappy is not what happens itself, but how we react to it. They taught that we should focus only on what we can control, our own thoughts, feelings, and actions, and accept what we cannot control. This is not always easy, but it is very powerful. Think about this for a moment. Imagine you have prepared for an important exam, but on the day of the test, you feel nervous and make some mistakes. You cannot change what already happened, but you can control how you respond. You could feel angry and give up, or you could decide to learn from your mistakes and prepare better next time. Stoicism encourages us to choose the second option. It teaches us to build what is called resilience, the ability to recover from setbacks and keep going. Let me share a personal example. A few years ago, I was learning a new language, and at first, it was very difficult. I made many mistakes, and sometimes I felt like giving up because I thought I would never get better. But then I remembered something like the Stoic idea. I cannot control how fast I learn, but I can control how much I practice and try. So, instead of feeling frustrated, I focused on small improvements every day. This mindset helped me stay calm and patient. Over time, I improved, not because I was perfect, but because I kept going. The Stoics also remind us that sometimes bad things happen, and it is normal to feel upset. But they ask us to think, is this problem really as bad as it seems? Often, our worries are bigger in our minds than in reality. By accepting that some things are outside of our control, we reduce stress and feel more peaceful. So, here's a question for you to think about. How do you react when things don't go your way? Do you get angry, worried, or sad? Or do you try to stay calm and find a way forward? It is not easy to always have the right reaction, but becoming aware of your response is the first step. One useful tip from Stoicism is to practice negative visualization. This means thinking ahead about what could go wrong, not to feel scared, but to be ready emotionally. For example, before giving a presentation, you might imagine that something unexpected happens. Then, you prepare yourself to stay calm if it does. This practice makes you stronger and less surprised by difficulties. Remember, the power of mindset is like a muscle. The more you practice controlling your thoughts and accepting what you cannot change, the stronger your resilience becomes. This does not mean ignoring problems or feelings, but learning to face them with courage and calm. In the next parts of this podcast, we will explore other important lessons that connect with this idea of mindset, like being consistent and knowing yourself. But for now, keep this thought in mind. Success is not only about what happens to us, it is about how we respond. The Stoics teach us that true strength comes from inside, from our own mind. Thank you for listening. Think about your own reactions this week. When something difficult happens, try to remember what the Stoics say. Focus on what you can control and accept the rest. It may help you feel less stressed and more ready to move forward. Lesson 2. Consistency over perfection. Aristotle's Golden Mean. In our last lesson, we learned about the power of mindset and how Stoic philosophers teach us to focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot. Now, let's move on to another important idea from a different ancient philosopher. Aristotle. Aristotle lived more than 2,000 years ago in ancient Greece, and his ideas about balance and moderation are still very useful today. Aristotle believed in something called the golden mean. This means finding a middle path between two extremes. Imagine a scale or a balance. On one side, you might have too much of something, and on the other side, too little. For Aristotle, success and a good life come from staying in the middle. Not too much and not too little, but just the right amount. For example, courage is a good quality, but too much courage can become recklessness, and too little can become fear. The key is to find balance. This idea of balance is very helpful when we think about learning new skills or working toward success. Many people get stuck because they want everything to be perfect before they start. This is called perfectionism, and it can actually stop us from moving forward. We think, I need to be perfect before I try, or if I make mistakes, I will fail. But perfectionism is dangerous because it can make us afraid to begin or continue. Instead of waiting to be perfect, Aristotle's lesson encourages us to focus on steady, consistent effort. Small, regular actions over time create real progress. Think about it like learning to ride a bike. At first, you might fall and make mistakes. But if you keep practicing bit by bit, day by day, you improve. You don't wait to be perfect before trying. You get better through practice and patience. Let me share a simple story to explain this. A friend of mine wanted to learn how to play the guitar. At first, it was really difficult. His fingers hurt, and the chords sounded bad. He felt frustrated and thought, maybe I'm not good enough. But instead of quitting, he decided to practice just 10 minutes every day. At first, it seemed slow, and the progress was small. But over months, those 10 minutes added up. Eventually, he could play songs and even sing while playing. He didn't need to be perfect at the start. What mattered was consistency. This example shows how steady effort wins over trying to be perfect right away. It's easy to forget this when we look at others who seem to succeed quickly or easily. But most success stories come from years of small, regular work, not sudden perfection. The golden mean helps us understand that balance in effort. Too much pressure can cause burnout, and too little effort means no progress. The secret is a balanced, steady approach. So, here is an important question for you to think about. Are you waiting to be perfect before you start something new? Are you holding back because you fear making mistakes or looking silly? If the answer is yes, remember Aristotle's lesson. It's better to begin imperfectly than to wait forever. The path to success is not about never failing. It's about learning from mistakes and keeping a steady pace. Another useful way to think about this is to focus on progress, not perfection. Each small step forward is a success. For example, if you want to improve your English speaking, try speaking a little every day, even if you make mistakes. Over time, you will improve, just like learning the guitar. Don't let the fear of imperfection stop you from starting or continuing. Balance is also about being kind to yourself. Sometimes, we push too hard, trying to do everything at once, which can lead to stress and exhaustion. Aristotle's golden mean reminds us to take care of ourselves while working toward our goals. Rest and fun are important parts of success, too. In this lesson, we've seen that success is about finding the right balance between effort and patience, between trying hard and accepting mistakes. This balance will help you stay motivated and avoid the trap of perfectionism. So, as you go through your week, think about this. What is one small step you can take today toward your goal, without waiting to be perfect? Remember, Progress is a journey made up of many small, consistent steps, and that is already success. Thank you for listening closely. In the next lesson, we will explore another valuable idea: the importance of self-knowledge, inspired by Socrates. But for now, keep Aristotle's golden mean in your mind and try to find balance in your own efforts. Lesson 3. Self-knowledge and authenticity. Socrates, know thyself. So far, we've talked about mindset and the importance of balance in our efforts. Now, let's explore a very famous idea from one of the earliest philosophers, Socrates. You might have heard his advice, know thyself. This simple phrase has been passed down for thousands of years, and it still holds deep meaning today. But what does know thyself really mean? At first, it might sound easy. We all know who we are, right? But Socrates believed that understanding ourselves deeply is one of the most important steps toward success and happiness. Knowing yourself means being honest about your strengths and weaknesses, your values, and your true desires. It's about discovering who you really are under all the expectations and pressures from others. Understanding yourself is crucial because it helps you make better decisions. When you know what matters to you, it becomes easier to set goals that feel meaningful and real. Without self-knowledge, you might follow a path just because others expect it, or because it looks good on the outside. But this can lead to frustration or feeling lost. Socrates taught that a life without self-reflection is like sailing a ship without a map. You may move, but you don't know where you are going. Let me share a story to show why self-knowledge matters. When I was younger, I felt pressure to choose a career just because it seemed popular or well-paid. I thought I had to be perfect and follow a clear path. But after a while, I started feeling unhappy and confused. I doubted myself and wondered, is this really what I want? I wasn't sure because I hadn't spent enough time thinking about what was truly important to me. Then I began asking myself deeper questions. What makes me excited? What are my values? What kind of life do I want to live? Slowly, I started to understand myself better. This helped me make choices that felt right, not just expected. Many people experience self-doubt like this. It is natural to question yourself, especially when life feels complicated or you face big decisions. But self-doubt can also hold you back if it stops you from trying or believing in your own potential. Socrates' advice encourages us to be curious about ourselves, to explore our feelings and thoughts honestly. It's not always comfortable, but it is the first step toward being authentic, being true to who you really are. Being authentic means living in a way that matches your inner values and goals. It means not pretending to be someone else to please others or hide your fears. Authenticity is powerful because it builds confidence and helps you attract the right people and opportunities. When you know yourself, you can say no to things that don't fit and yes to what truly matters. Here is a question for you to think about. What do you truly want, and why? This might seem simple, but it's a question worth reflecting on. Sometimes we get so busy with daily life or worrying about others' opinions that we forget to ask ourselves this. Take a moment and imagine your ideal life. Not what others expect, but what feels good to you. What kind of work would you do? How would you spend your time? Who would you be with? These answers are your compass, helping you find your own path to success. In different cultures, this idea of self-knowledge takes different forms, but the message is the same. Understanding yourself is key. For example, in many Asian cultures, there is a strong emphasis on harmony and community, but at the same time, people also seek to understand their role within that group. In Western cultures, individualism and self-expression are often more highlighted. No matter the culture, the journey to know yourself helps you live a fuller, more meaningful life. Socrates reminds us that the path to success is not only about external achievements, but about inner clarity. When you understand yourself, you can make choices with confidence, face challenges with courage, and live without regrets. Self-knowledge helps you build a strong foundation for everything else in life. Thank you for listening closely to this important lesson. I encourage you to take some quiet time this week to ask yourself, who am I? What do I truly want? These questions may not have quick answers, but the act of asking is the start of a powerful journey. Remember, success is not just about what you achieve on the outside, but about knowing and being yourself on the inside. In the next episode, we will look at how relationships and community play a role in success, inspired by the teachings of Confucius. But for now, hold on to this idea from Socrates. The most important journey you can take is the journey within. Lesson 4. The importance of community, Confucius and relationships. So far, we've explored important ideas about mindset, balance, and knowing ourselves. Now, it's time to look at another crucial part of success, the importance of community. This lesson comes from one of the most famous ancient philosophers in East Asia, Confucius. His teachings, which are still very influential today, focus on harmony in relationships and social responsibility. Confucius believed that people are connected. He said that success and happiness don't come from working alone, but through good relationships with others, family, friends, teachers, and even society. For him, the way we treat others and how we build strong, respectful relationships are key to living a good life. This idea might sound simple, but it carries a deep message. We are not islands. We need each other to grow and succeed. One of the central ideas in Confucianism is harmony. Harmony means living in balance with others, avoiding conflict when possible, and supporting each other. It's not about everyone being the same or agreeing all the time, but about respect and kindness, even when opinions differ. Harmony creates an environment where people can work together, learn from each other, and feel safe to express themselves. Think about your own experiences with teamwork or family support. Have you ever been part of a group project where everyone helped each other? Or maybe you had a mentor, someone with more experience, who gave you advice and encouragement. These relationships make a huge difference. They help us stay motivated, learn new things, and overcome challenges. Confucius teaches us that success is not just a personal achievement, but a shared journey with the people around us. I want to share a personal example here. When I was learning English, I felt stuck many times. But then, I joined a small study group with friends who also wanted to improve. We practiced speaking together, helped each other with difficult words, and celebrated small victories. The support and encouragement from this group kept me going, especially when I felt tired or doubted myself. Without that community, my progress would have been much slower and harder. Confucius also emphasized the idea of filial piety, which means respecting and caring for your parents and family. In many cultures, family is the first community where we learn important values like respect, responsibility, and love. Family support can be a strong foundation for success because it gives us emotional strength and practical help when we need it. This brings us to an important question to reflect on. Who helps you stay motivated and focused? Think about the people in your life. Family members, friends, teachers, or colleagues. Who encourages you when things get tough? Who celebrates your successes with you? These people play a vital role in your journey toward success. It's also important to remember that community is a two-way street. Just as others support us, we can support them too. Confucius believed that by helping others, we create a positive cycle of kindness and trust. When you help someone, you not only make their life better, but also strengthen your own connections and sense of purpose. In today's world, community can take many forms. It might be your family, your workplace, a club, or even an online group. The key is to find spaces where you feel valued and connected. These relationships provide motivation and help us face setbacks with confidence. So, as you think about your path to success, remember that you don't have to do it alone. Building and nurturing relationships can be one of the most powerful tools you have. Success is often a team effort, even if it looks like an individual achievement from the outside. To sum up, Confucius teaches us that harmony, respect, and responsibility in our relationships create a strong foundation for success. When we connect with others, share our struggles, and offer support, we become stronger and more resilient. Success becomes richer and more meaningful when it is shared with a community. Thank you for joining me in this lesson. Take a moment this week to think about your own community. Who are the people you can rely on? How can you support them in return? These reflections can help you build stronger, more supportive relationships on your journey. In the next episode, we will explore the power of acceptance and change, inspired by the teachings of Heraclitus. But for now, remember that success is not just about you. It's about the connections that lift you up and keep you moving forward. Lesson 5. Embracing Change and Uncertainty. Heraclitus's Flux. So far, we have explored many ideas from ancient philosophers about mindset, balance, knowing ourselves, and the power of community. Today, we're going to talk about something that is very important for success: the idea of change and uncertainty. This lesson comes from the ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus, who lived over 2,500 years ago. Heraclitus is famous for saying, "You cannot step into the same river twice." What does this mean? Imagine you step into a river. The water you touch moves quickly and flows away. If you step in again, it's not the same water. It has changed. Heraclitus used this image to explain that life is always changing. Nothing stays exactly the same for long. Everything is in constant movement, or what he called flux. This idea may feel a little uncomfortable at first. We often want things to be steady, safe, and predictable. But Heraclitus teaches us that change is natural and inevitable. Success doesn't come from stopping change or avoiding uncertainty. It comes from learning to flow with change and adapt to it. Think about your own life. Maybe you have experienced changes like moving to a new city, changing jobs, or starting a new relationship. These moments can be exciting but also scary. Uncertainty can make us feel worried or stressed because we don't know what will happen next. But Heraclitus's lesson reminds us that change is part of life's flow, and resisting it often causes more frustration. In fact, many people today face rapid changes, new technologies, shifting job markets, or global events like the pandemic. These challenges require us to be flexible and open-minded. Those who can accept and embrace change often find new opportunities and grow stronger, while those who resist may feel stuck. Let me share a personal story about change. A few years ago, I had to leave a job I liked because the company was closing. At first, I felt lost and worried about what would happen next. But instead of giving up, I decided to see this as a chance to explore new possibilities. I took time to learn new skills and even started working on projects I had always wanted to try. This experience taught me that while change can be difficult, it can also open doors to new and unexpected paths. Heraclitus encourages us to be like water in the river, flexible and adaptable. Instead of fighting change, we can learn to move with it. This mindset is especially important in today's fast-moving world. It helps us deal with uncertainty without fear, making us more resilient. Here is an important question to reflect on. How comfortable are you with change? Do you try to avoid it, or do you try to embrace it? Sometimes just being aware of our feelings about change can help us face it better. If you feel uncomfortable, that's okay. Many people do. The key is to practice small steps toward accepting change and seeing it as part of growth. Another way to think about this is to focus on what you can control during change. You may not control the change itself, but you can control your attitude and how you respond. For example, when you start a new job, you cannot control everything about the workplace at first, but you can control your effort, your willingness to learn, and your openness to new experiences. Embracing change also means accepting that uncertainty is a natural part of life. No one has a perfect plan or knows exactly what will happen in the future. Instead of trying to control everything, we can learn to be patient and curious. Sometimes, unexpected changes bring new lessons and exciting opportunities we never imagined. So, as you think about your own path, remember Heraclitus's river. Life is always flowing and changing. Success comes when you learn to move with the current, not against it. Change is not the enemy, it is a teacher. Thank you for listening to this important lesson. This week, try to notice moments of change in your life and practice being open to them, even if they feel uncomfortable. Ask yourself, how can I flow with this change instead of fighting it? This simple question can help you grow stronger and more confident. Bringing it all together. Creating your own success philosophy. Over the past few episodes, we've explored powerful lessons from ancient philosophers, ideas that are still useful today for anyone working toward a meaningful, successful life. Now it's time to bring everything together and think about how you can use these lessons to create your own personal success philosophy. Let's start with a quick reminder of what we've learned so far. From Stoicism, we learned about the power of mindset, the idea that we should focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot. Life brings challenges and setbacks, but how we respond to them is what truly matters. When things go wrong, a resilient mindset helps us stay calm and move forward instead of getting stuck in frustration or fear. Then, we explored Aristotle's golden mean, which taught us about the value of balance and consistency. Many of us struggle with perfectionism, the belief that we must do everything perfectly or not at all. But in reality, success comes from steady, regular effort, not from waiting until everything feels just right. Learning a language, starting a business, or improving your health. All of these require patience and practice, not perfection. Next, we learned from Socrates and his famous advice, know thyself. This lesson reminds us that real success begins with self-knowledge, understanding your values, your goals, and your true desires. If you don't know what you want, how can you work toward it? Taking time to reflect on who you are and what matters to you helps you make smarter decisions and live more authentically. We also explored the wisdom of Confucius, who emphasized the power of relationships and community. Success is rarely a solo journey. We all need support, from family, friends, mentors, or colleagues. Strong relationships give us encouragement, help us stay focused, and teach us important lessons. At the same time, we must also give back and be there for others. A supportive community makes us stronger. Finally, we looked at Heraclitus and his belief that change is constant. In life, nothing stays the same forever. Our plans may fail, opportunities may come and go. But if we accept that change is natural, we can face uncertainty with more confidence. Being flexible, open-minded, and willing to adapt helps us stay on track, even when the path ahead is not clear. Now, the big question is, what can you do with all of this? How can you turn these ideas into something practical for your own life? One suggestion is to create your own success philosophy. This doesn't mean writing a long essay. It can be as simple as a few sentences or even a list of values and beliefs that guide you. For example, your philosophy might include ideas like, I will focus on what I can control. I will take small, consistent steps toward my goals. I will stay true to myself and my values. I will build strong, supportive relationships. I will welcome change and keep growing. You can write this in your journal, on a piece of paper, or even in your phone. Read it when you feel lost, stuck, or unsure. It can remind you of what really matters and help you make better choices. Another practical step is to set aside time each week for reflection. This doesn't have to be a big task. Even 5 minutes can be helpful. Ask yourself questions like, what went well this week? What did I learn? Where did I feel challenged, and how did I respond? What can I improve next week? These small moments of self-reflection help you grow and stay connected to your goals. Over time, you'll start to notice patterns and gain more self-awareness. Also, remember that creating a success philosophy is not about being perfect. It's about staying curious, staying honest, and being open to learning. Life will keep changing, and so will you. Your definition of success may shift as you grow. That's normal. In fact, that's the beauty of it. Your journey is personal, and you are allowed to shape it in a way that feels true to you. Before we end today, I'd like to leave you with one final reflective question. What kind of person do you want to become? And what small step can you take today to move in that direction? It's not about changing your life overnight. It's about starting with one step, one choice, one thought, and then repeating that again and again, with patience and purpose. Thank you for joining me on this journey through ancient wisdom and modern success. We've explored some big ideas, from resilience and balance to self-knowledge, connection, and change. And now, as we come to the end of this episode, I want to leave you with a few final thoughts, and hopefully, a little extra motivation. First, I want to remind you that you don't need to remember every detail or follow every lesson perfectly. That's not the goal. Success isn't about doing everything at once. It's about doing something, one small thing, with intention and focus. Even choosing just one idea from today's episode and trying it this week can make a real difference. So, take a moment and ask yourself, which idea spoke to you the most? Was it the Stoic advice to focus on what you can control? Was it Aristotle's call for balance and steady effort? Maybe it was Socrates' challenge to truly know yourself. Or Confucius's reminder that success is shared, not solo. Or perhaps it was Heraclitus, who taught us that change is not the enemy, it's part of life. Whatever it was, hold on to that lesson. Think about how you can apply it in your real, everyday life. Maybe it's choosing to take one small step toward a goal you've been afraid to start. Maybe it's letting go of perfection and just showing up with your best effort. Or maybe it's having a conversation with someone who supports you, or someone you want to support in return. Remember, the most important lessons are not the ones we hear, but the ones we use. Now, before we finish, I want to leave you with one more question to think about. It's simple, but powerful. What kind of success feels right for you? And what kind of person do you want to become in the process? This question doesn't have one correct answer, and it might change over time as you learn more, grow more, and live more. But asking it regularly helps you stay true to yourself. It helps you shape your life with meaning, not just movement. So take this moment, right now, to pause, breathe, and reflect. You don't need to rush. Just think. What is your next small step? Whatever it is, I believe in your ability to take it. Not because you need to be perfect, not because you have everything figured out, but because you're willing to try. And that, truly, is the beginning of success. Thank you so much for listening to Code Your English. If this episode helped you think, feel, or reflect in a new way, I encourage you to come back, revisit the lessons, and keep moving forward on your own journey. One step, one thought, one decision at a time. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind to yourself, and never stop learning. Not just English, but about yourself and the world around you.